Videodrome. Long live the new flesh, and I love it from
I love that it's
Criterion.
a beta tape. So
That's
good.
Yeah, I know. I
awesome.
love
Because I
it.
think the one I got is the import, and I don't think it's a
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah, it's great.
This is the Criterion. So
Oh,
yes,
wow. Okay.
I've watched this, and this is still very much today. Like, I mean, when they're talking to Dr. Oblivion, he says, my real name isn't Dr. Oblivion. That's my TV name. Everybody in the future will have their own name.
And
Sitting here, I'm on YouTube and I'm called FanZcene. That's not my real name. So it's very relevant.
Totally. That movie's so it's so great. I love when he's getting down with Debbie Harry and she's like, cut me.
Yeah.
Cut me right here. And she's already got cut marks from razor blades. And he's like, it looks like somebody beat me to it.
He's like, you let somebody do that to you?
And Howard Shore, the man who did the score for Lord of the Rings, does the score for that movie.
And it's a great score. It's a great
because Howard Shore was like this avant-garde Canadian composer until, suddenly Peter Jackson taps him to the score. But for the 70s and the 80s, he did all these great scores for Cronenberg's movies and stuff.
It's insane. But I mean, it's one of those great Cronenberg, like 80s body horror movies. And it's just, I'm watching and it's like connecting it so much to today. It's like he was really on to something, because like we are all sort of we've merged with technology and we're all on TV, YouTube, and even like when they use Debbie Harry when they take her and they show her on the TV and stuff, like those guys are paying OnlyFans girls and stuff.
It's like, totally that.
Yes.
No, that movie's one of the most prophetic movies ever made.
Yes.
Videodrome and I think it's Sidney Lumet who directed Network, the 70s movie Network. Those two as a double feature. But yeah, I was made for that show. I love the older woman that wants to get into James Woods' pants, and she's trying to sell him that series Samurai Dreams.
Yeah.
She's like, Videodrome is dangerous, Max. It's dangerous because Videodrome has a philosophy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
have.
Yeah, I mean it was great. And then there's that character Barry Convex. I mean, Cronenberg always has the greatest names for people. Yeah. He has a new movie coming out that I'm dying to see called The Shrouds.
Mm-hmm.
It's either called The Shrouds or The Shroud. And it's check this out. There's basically Vincent Cassel plays a guy that looks just like David Cronenberg. And he's lost his wife. So he's created this way to bury people. I kid you not, this is what the movie's about. To bury people, and you can watch on video, you can go to their grave sites and you can watch them decompose. And he does this to get over the grief with his wife. And then something happens. I haven't seen it. I mean, I can't wait.
Sounds like Cronenberg.
I mean, it's kind of the end of his long live the new flesh philosophy. And also Second Sight's putting out The Brood and Scanners in 4K.
Yeah.
And The Brood is a masterpiece. And I can't wait. See, people are like, but why? Yuck. Well, because here's the thing about Cronenberg. Here's why I love Cronenberg so much. Cronenberg, the thing is, we especially Americans, we are very uncomfortable with our bodies. Like the idea that all these things that if we could take all the bad things about our bodies, we literally would just flush them away. But what Cronenberg does is all of his body horror films are all about the mind, our spirit, soul, and our mind, how we're trapped in these vessels of meat that at any 1 minute are going to revolt against us. Something's going to happen, whether it's the fly, whether it's the brood, whether it's rabbit, or they came from within. Something's going to go down, and our bodies are going to revolt against our mind and our intellect, and we're effed.
Yeah.
Like that's what, and I love that. I love that. I love that about Cronenberg's films because, one of the great things in The Brood, and I can't wait to get that Second Sight disc. The Brood is so good, but the idea that you can take all your trauma or your anger and externalize it through like cancers and stuff, expel your trauma through and people are growing these horrible things on their bodies to get rid of their trauma.
Yeah.
I won't. If you haven't seen The Brood, you got to watch it because it's got one of the great shocking reveals of all horror history in it. If you don't know what it is, don't look it up.
Don't look it up. But
Because
no,
for the first time, I've shown that movie to people for the first time, and it gets to that point, and it's one of the horror movies that still wigs people out if they get far enough. They don't know what they're in for.
Yeah,
it's great.
It is good. But yeah, like I was watching Videodrome, and it's just I hadn't seen it in a while, and it looks really good. The Criterion looks really good, and it was just I hadn't seen it in a while, but it was like blowing my mind how much has come to pass.
Yeah.
And from that movie that is like actually true to this day, and I'm like just like Dr. Oblivion himself recorded his whole mind is just tapes.
I know.
That's because that's his like. I mean, that's the legacy we're all leaving, except we're not tapes anymore.
Right.
It's digital.
No, it's all true.
Yeah, it's very true.